quick test.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome you to the SummitFX, the first edition, organized in partnership with Ministry of Information and Broadcasting and Government of Karnataka. We are supported by Technicolor. The program is supported by Technicolor. Our principal partners are Accenture, Dell, Epic Games, associate partner Autodesk, Aptech, Tech Mahindra, ICE, co-partner DNEG, Deathline, S2PI, Indian Gaming Society is the institutional partner. Today, we have somebody who doesn't need an introduction, Mr. David Morin, Epic Games Industry Manager, M&E and Executive Director, Academy Software Foundation, USA. He will be sharing his thoughts with us on creating in-camera VFX with real-time workflows. May I have the privilege of inviting Mr. David Morin amongst us?
Hello, thank you very much for your kind introduction. I'm glad to be here with you today presenting. In the next 30 minutes or so, I intend to go through this theme here using Unreal Engine to produce Hollywood content with specific focus on in-camera visual effects and real-time workflow. So lots of material. I'm going to get going right away with the poll. So I'd like you to, since it's the end of the day and everyone is tired there at the conference, I want you to kind of shake your hands a little bit and grab your phone or any browser and go up into the link that you see at the top of the screen here, this pollev.com/unreal. And when you go to that address, you're going to see on your phone the questions that we have on screen right now, and you can vote. So as a warm-up, as we're going to have a few of these polls in the presentation, I'd like you to go there and vote for your favorite action hero. Yes, there we go. We have someone who voted for Charlize Theron. That's a beautiful thing. And now Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming quickly on the heel of Charlize. So again, you go to pollev.com, the link at the top of the slide there, /unreal, and you're going to see the choices that you have in front of you. We'll give you a few minutes to get going. Oh, someone is changing their mind. Prabhas is there. A fifth person. That is good. Sixth person coming up. This is not coming up at the same speed as usual. Perhaps we have a delay with the internet connection between the various servers. So let's get to a few more and then we'll move on to the next slide. All right. You can continue to vote. We're going to move to the next one in the interest of time. So here, the question is, and now that's what you should see on your phone, are you an Unreal user today? If you are not, do you want to be? And if you are not, simply because you're not in this business or for whatever other reason, please feel free to enter. And given the feedback that we have or the speed of the internet line, let's try to go to 12 votes, and then we'll move on from there. Glad to see that we have a few users in the audience and many who want to be using Unreal, which is, I will tell you, a smart choice. All right, let's move on to the actual presentation. So that's the agenda for today. I'll start with a quick background on Epic Games and Unreal Engine itself. Then we will focus this presentation on use cases in film and TV, many of them, and in particular, The Mandalorian and Westworld. And time permitting at the end, we will talk about Unreal 5. So Epic Games. Tim Sweeney, Epic Games CEO today, is our founder and leader, and he created the company 30 years ago. He has built Epic Games to develop real-time technology, first for video games, but with the vision that one day we will go in the game or in the virtual environment, not only to play games, but to go shopping, to hang out with friends, to look at movies, and to build things like cars and buildings and worlds, and not just look at the movies, but make the movies. And it's with that vision in mind that we, all of us at Epic Games, work together to bring that vision to reality one step at a time. He founded the company in 1991. He's a software engineer himself, a conservationist, and he's our guiding light at Epic Games. Epic Game itself, as a way to describe it, is a global interactive technology and digital ecosystem company. What does that mean? Epic Games has two big field of activity that you could summarize by play with Fortnite and create with the tools to create the play and create the interaction with Unreal Engine, Twilmotion, Quixel, and also the Epic Game Store and the Epic Online Services, all different parts of the authoring landscape that help for building a interactive experience. So Unreal Engine itself, one of the main tool for the platform, is one of its main characteristic, and for you who are interested to get into Unreal, is free for creators. So you can download it today for free and at unrealengine.com, and you can start using it in media and entertainment, film and TV. There is no fee or no license fee for using Unreal. And so we invite you to do that. Unreal Engine is used across industries. All of those you see here: media, entertainment, broadcast, design, manufacturing, automotive, advertising, architecture, everywhere where you need interactivity and you benefit from the great features of real-time photoreal rendering that Unreal brings, rendering and interaction that Unreal brings to the marketplace. Unreal Engine itself was released in 2001. It's real-time at the core. The source code is on GitHub, and so for software engineers and people who are looking at developing new features around Unreal, this is a very important feature. There's been 500 games built with Unreal Engine, and on the partnership model with other game companies that use the engine to build. And there's 45 games that have been built by Epic Games itself using the Unreal Engine. And that's very important because that's how the engine is this battle-tested set of tools that have been used a lot to do AAA real big games out there, including Fortnite. I want to say a few words about Fortnite, which is built on Unreal Engine. The number of users, 350 million registered users on all gaming platforms, 100 players at a time, updated very frequently on a massive scale. And Fortnite is built with the same Unreal Engine that you can download for free to use in the film and TV industry, and all these examples we're going to see in the rest of this presentation. Now, in the Fortnite, there's something interesting that I want to bring your attention to, is crossover events. So in the first chapter of Fortnite, there has been 10 crossover events that were done with either movies that were coming out, or musicians that came to perform inside Fortnite, or sports events like the Super Bowl that were the beginning of this this intersection between different media. And I want to focus on one of them, show you briefly, the one that took place when the last Star Wars movie was released in December of 2019. There was the event in Fortnite, and I'm going to walk you through quickly about some of what happened inside Fortnite for those who came to see that crossover event. The video is quite long, so in the interest of time, I'm going to fast forward in some places. But here you see the point of view of a Fortnite player when that event happened. Essentially, the gameplay was stopped, and now this story unfolded. The Millennium Falcon showing up in the game. Let's have a look. Our Millennium Falcon here is in hot pursuit by TIE fighters, and a battle ensues. So what happened here is that as the player are in Fortnite, suddenly in the world that they're used to play, this story unfolds. And the story itself is there for people to see. It's not interactive. But it's in the 3D world where you see the Millennium Falcon going by and being chased, and then eventually, after the Millennium Falcon expedites some of those TIE fighter, it lands on the platform in front of the players that had been advertised for many weeks before. And coming out, and this is now the Millennium Falcon has landed, and someone is coming out of the Millennium Falcon. I'm going to play that.
A bubble through my helmet. That's what we meant. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, J.J. Abrams!
Hello, Fortnite. I have never been thinner.
Oh, you look...
Not one time.
You've been working it. Your legs look amazing,
J.J. Come to Fortnite, you know the first thing I do? I don't eat.
You don't eat, and we could tell. You could tell.
And so here there's a whole celebrity dialogue that goes on for another period of time. And eventually there's a few quiz that are done in the game, a few polls actually, for the gamers to give their opinion. And eventually J.J. Abrams introduces a clip of the, at the time, still upcoming Star Wars movies, and it looks like this.
From Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, which is in theaters on Friday, December 20th.
I am in this scene. Let's check it out. I'm in the scene, definitely.
He's not.
I'm in the scene. Watch out for me in the scene.
You won't see him.
Credentials and manifest.
You three stay there.
Which way? No idea. Follow me.
And the clip plays then for a few minutes. And then eventually, as we come toward the end of the clip, J.J. Abrams goes back into the Millennium Falcon, and the gamers go back to the status of the game, and there is a present that is left for them as they go where the Falcon was. And the game resumes. So this is a great example of the game and the film, two different mediums starting to work together. They're not yet the same, they're not yet converged, but they have a place where you can both play the game and look at the movie. So we're taking steps in toward the metaverse that Tim Sweeney has been talking about. Not just in movies like this, but also in music. And so we had the rapper Travis Scott, amongst others, musicians that came into Fortnite and made a whole event around the release of his new songs that was called Astronomical. It was very popular and was seen by more than 12 million people inside Fortnite. So music world, movie world, sports world, video gaming coming together in a platform like Fortnite, which is created with Unreal Engine. So how is Unreal Engine used for specifically Hollywood production, which is the theme of our presentation here? So you may have seen that slide before with my colleague presenting earlier in the conference, but this represents the masters of filmmakers, some of them in the film industry, but those who made the biggest movie, Peter Jackson, Jim Cameron, Steven Spielberg, and Alfonso Cuarón, each one of them holding a form or another of an interactive device, a virtual camera, at a time where the graphics were not very photoreal, but they were pioneering this because they wanted to see what they were doing when it came to visual effects. And the tools at the time were the best they could be on the technology of the time. This was prior to Unreal Engine. The filmmakers got introduced to Unreal with the advent of VR around March 2014, when Facebook acquired Oculus. This created a new wave of interest and investment inside VR. And soon filmmakers started, discovered the new interactive technology, started experimenting with the Unreal Engine. These are a few examples. At first, it was VR experiences that were adjunct to the main product, where they were not using the game engine for making the movie. They were doing a side experience, VR experience, and many of them were beautiful. Carney Arena from Alessandro Inarritu is a groundbreaking VR experience. It won an Oscar for a new form of storytelling, a special Oscar that was given previously many years ago to Pixar for the invention of computer-generated movies. And we were glad to participate in this project with ILMX Lab. Robert Zemeckis made an app called Walk VR, which was very successful, about the gentleman who crossed between the two towers in New York on a wire, and so you had a VR experience where you could do that yourself, which was quite immersive. Jon Favreau himself made a VR experience called Gnomes and Goblins, and started many years ago. It's now coming out finally at the Venice Film Festival in a few weeks, the complete experience of Gnomes and Goblins. But Jon Favreau experimented on VR and discovered a lot of tools that he used, a lot of techniques that he then used later. We'll see on The Mandalorian. And then studios like Disney with the Avengers did a lot of immersive experience on location-based, with location-based companies such as The Void. These tools, and we're going to look at a quick video here. The VR tools that were developed for those experiences eventually made it into a tool for a filmmaker. And so you're looking at the VR interface within Unreal Engine. When you have goggles on, you can go in and explore a world. So it's not just now experiencing something in your living room, but it's really creating a movie, creating a virtual set, a virtual environment, moving things around as you are in VR and positioning them. And if you are doing that while you're on an in-camera visual effects set, as we can see here in the picture-in-picture, the camera is looking at a video wall, and you as an avatar, as a person in the world, come across as an avatar that is going around the scene beyond the limit of the video wall itself. You're really diving in the scene to go modify things. So it can be the director, the cinematographer, the production designer that go in there and modify the set, the virtual set, as it's being shot. So since then, there's been an explosion of use case of the engine in film and TV. And these are a few of them, most of them. So virtual sets, as we just saw, virtual location, where you can go actually scan a location and bring it to the set. We'll see an example of that. VR scouting, we saw. Pre-visualization, I want to talk about that a little bit. In-camera visual effects and virtual production, which is more the motion capture part of the use of the engine. Digital humans and even final render in some cases. You get to shoot your visual effects live and get them in final. In an example of pre-visualization I want to show is from Previs. The pre-visualization community has embraced Unreal very early because of the instant feedback and the no rendering time that is essential to working fast with filmmaker at the speed of thought. Where Previs companies, Previs artists, they have often the director right over their shoulder, so they need to work very fast. And also the vastly improved lighting and rendering quality that is in Unreal Engine that it gives to Previs. I want to show an example here. It's a short reel from Halon Entertainment, which was pioneered the use of Unreal in film and TV and in this case for the movie Ford versus Ferrari. With Christian Bale and Matt Damon, that came out at the end of last year and made $250 million worldwide. Let's have a look. So what needs to be noted in that last clip we saw, it is previs, and so we can clearly see that in the sketch nature of the rendering and how the characters themselves are rendered without facial animation and all. But really, in previs, you often make the movie, and you particularly make the movies when, in a case like this, you're going to have real, very expensive cars to deal with on set, and you want to be very efficient in the way you're going to shoot them, and you want to make a car movie, a racing movie that's better than all the other racing movies that have been done before. So previs become an essential tool to plan and to make your exciting movie as you're going in. That is now a tool that has one aspect of this clip is the vastly improved lighting that you have in Unreal Engine compared to previous iteration of previs. I want to show another example, this time in the art department. So as previs artists work on the action of the movie, the production designers work on designing the props and the sets and every aspect of both the real sets and the virtual sets, and also the creatures in some case. So I want to show here, and it's a first for you, here is a clip that's been provided to us coming from the world of Stranger Things. Thanks to Netflix and courtesy of Aaron Sims Creative. We want to show you this test that shows how far the real-time rendering, the quality of the real-time rendering can go when you're designing, in this case, a creature. And it's a well-known creature if you're following Stranger Things. I'm going to let it play. There you have it. There is no sound on that clip. The Demogorgon running in real time inside Unreal. What's notable here on this test is when you go close to it and you're in real time here looking at the model, the level of photorealism that you have on the creature is outstanding and can be used in some cases, could be used in Final, as you can judge for yourself. I don't think anyone has been that close to the Demogorgon and lived to tell the tale until now. Thank you to Aaron Sim Creative and Netflix for providing this rail. So all in all, with all these different use cases, Unreal Engine 4 has been used in 145 film and TV projects since 2016. You see a number of them now. 145 film projects that are released or in production currently. And that brings us to the core of our presentation, in-camera visual effects. And we've done a lot of videos, but there's one that came recently from Paul Franklin, creative director and founder at DNEG, well-known Oscar winner in visual effects. And he made a test and described what in-camera visual effects is, and we'll let him give you his opinion.
Hello, I'm Paul Franklin, and I'm talking to you here from the set at Dimension, where we have been shooting a virtual production test with this high-resolution LED wall. And what this technology allows us to do is to create sets, environments, landscapes, all on the same stage. So rather than physically build a set, we create a computer-generated image of the environment and play it back on this screen. And the really clever thing is that unlike a regular scenic backdrop or just a rear projection or something like that, this environment is a live 3D world. And so we're creating a virtual stage, but then filming it all in camera. Because virtual sets have existed for a long time in visual effects, using green screen, where we have to then replace the green later on in post-production. But this adds an extra dimension to the process and makes it so much more immediate, and you get all the benefits of live photography on the day, as it were, and potentially you can get everything without having to do any additional post-production. But there are other things as well that this process offers, which is the flexibility of working with computer graphics and computer animation. We can add effects animation like explosions and fire and lighting changes, all of which would be very difficult, very time-consuming, and potentially even dangerous to do on a physical set. So it gives you the best of both worlds, the flexibility of a visual effects process, but then the immediate realism of actual photography.
I'm going to stop the video here. There is more, and Shannon is posting on the chat room the links to the complete videos that you can grab and look at later. In the interest of time, we're going to move on. So I want to talk about the technology demo that we did in 2019, and where we first developed and showed the features that are used now by all the in-camera visual effects projects that we are talking about. So I will assume that most of you have seen this video. If you have not, look in the chat box, and you can go on uevirtualproduction.com, a video that explains in good details the process that we went through to put a in-camera visual effects stage together, featuring Unreal Engine new developments. I'm going to talk about those. Please go see the video on uevirtualproduction.com if you have not seen it already. It's been seen millions of times. This is the set that was built at our partner Lux Machina in downtown Los Angeles to do the demo and the examples I'm going to talk about. So it's being built now. I'm not going to go into the details of the wall itself. I'm going to focus on the Unreal Engine features that drive the wall. The first thing that you need to do when you go into a in-camera visual effects set is you need to model your video walls inside Unreal so that you have a representation in your virtual world of the actual screens and tiles that you have in the exact configuration that you build them on your set. This is how you're going to be able to map on that wall the view of the sets using a feature of Unreal Engine called N-Display. N-Display allows you to use multiple computers to render different segments of a surface. It can be a dome, it can be a set of wall and ceilings as we see here. It can have any configuration when the amount of pixel being rendered cannot possibly be rendered by a single machine. So you can go in and display and divide your display area in multiple zones and assign specific computers to each one of them. The entire LED wall, it's important to note, is not just a display. It's also, and maybe more importantly, a lighting instrument, meaning it creates light and it creates the opportunity for reflection, as we see here on the gas tank of the motorbike. So there's a lot of the wall you don't see when you shoot with your camera, but it plays a role in lighting the scene and providing reflection for anything that is shiny and reflective or refractive on your set. There's also features related to the camera, like the camera view frustum, which is a very interesting one. As you can see here, what the camera looks at, there is this rectangle, it's called the frustum, that moves, that is rendered essentially at higher resolution than the rest of the scene, so that what the camera sees is at the highest possible resolution that you can have, while the rest of the scene is rendered at the normal resolution that doesn't need to be as high for the purpose of lighting and reflection, where you don't see the pixels or anything like that in your reflections. So it allows to concentrate your computing power in something, in a process that is similar to foveated rendering in VR. This is a graph representing this particular setup that was in terms of the Unreal Engine computers that were feeding that particular wall. There's a feature called Live Link that connects the data from all the systems. You have the N-Display systems to the left. There was, in this case, a multi-user VR scouting system to the right, 2 different Vive stations for diving into the set itself, and primary machine multi-user that gives an idea of the setup. And this is detailed a lot in the videos on uevirtualproduction.com. A very important aspect of any photoreal endeavor, and this one in particular in camera visual effects, is having assets in your world that are photoreal to start with. So we are lucky to have part of our Epic family, Quixel, which is a group of folks who have a mission to go scan the world and then bring it as libraries to all Unreal Engine users for free. And so this is the Quixel library, and you can find the rocks that we use for our demo in the library. This one in particular, the Icelandic weathered lava spire, it came to be our hero rock that we used a lot moving around the scene. You can access that Quixel for free when you use Unreal Engine and build your own environments. Other features of in-camera visual effects is the ability to change the lighting, change the time of day, change the rotate the sky around, and do all kinds of things related to lighting, create lights from nothing on your walls, surfaces of the wall that you decide are a lighting area, and you make them white, and then they show into your scene, and they can change the mood. A cinematographer can use all these features through an iPad interface to be able to modify the lighting inside their set by using the video wall again as a lighting instrument. So we're going to move quickly now, again, in the interest of time, through the Mandalorian. Mandalorian season 1 was in production as we were showcasing this demo I just showed, and we could not talk about the Mandalorian, and that's at the time, and that's why we put together this technology demo. But the features were developed for the Mandalorian project, and many of them are in collaboration with our partners, ILM, and everyone who worked on The Mandalorian, headed by Jon Favreau and the team at Disney. We're going to look at a few of the images. A lot has been written on The Mandalorian by now, and there's a few great articles. One in particular, this one in the American Cinematographer magazine, the 100th anniversary of this magazine and storied association. Yeah, I highly recommend that you pick it up. It's online now. You can go to the ascmag.com and read the article. Then from these pictures are from that article. This is a view of the Mandalorian set. I'm going to go over these quickly, pointing out a few things. So over here, you see at the top of the image, the motion capture cameras. The role of these cameras, as we see them over here as well, is to capture the real camera position so that you know exactly where that camera is. Here you see Greg Fraser, co-producer, who is working with Pedro Pascal, playing the Mandalorian, on one of the first shots of the first episode, at a time where they didn't really know yet if the wall was going to be a place where they can shoot finals, or it would give them really good references. But these are the shots that they started getting out of this in-camera visual effects setup. This is a final, and you look at it, and it's the Mandalorian walking on this long sidewalk on an icy lake. The reality is that Pedro Pascal is about 2 feet from the wall on this image, so you cannot really see where the wall is. But if he was taking one more step, he would collide into the video wall, and so that's how the realism of the wall and the capability to shoot in the camera brought a lot of possibilities to the filmmakers as they adapted and learned about the technology. This is another view with the wall in the background. These 4 pictures are behind the scenes. So you see the camera, you see the tracking system, and a lot of various features. So in some cases, you see very well where the wall ends and the set begins. In some other cases, like in the image at the upper left, it's really hard to see. The set dressing has been done very well so that the blend between the wall and the real set is about impossible to figure out, which is what you want ultimately for having the magic of movies. And these are finals that came out also from the sets, and it shows the range of lighting that the wall can do. And in the case of the image up at the upper left corner, the lighting was supplemented with normal standard set lighting that you can do for supplementing the wall that can only light to a certain level of intensity. So you can supplement that with normal lighting. But you can see magic hour and sunset, which this kind of technology can do very, very nicely. In this image here, we see Deborah Chow, one of the directors of the episode 3 and 7 of the first season of The Mandalorian. She's directing Werner Herzog, famous director, but in this case was an actor in the show, for one of the final shots in the picture. What's behind him is on the wall. What looks like they're in a set, in fact, they were in the video wall, and what was displayed on the video wall was a virtual set. This one is very interesting because it's one of the best examples of set extension done with the wall. Here, the ship, the ship is being built, has been built. The shiny part over here has been built on set, where that allows our heroes to go up and down inside the ship. But the top of the ship is displayed on the ceiling of the video wall, and the back of the engine over here is done using the is displayed on the back wall. And as the camera moves, Unreal Engine keeps all of that together, knowing where the camera is, and will essentially distort the image on the wall so that it always look solid and final. And this is the final in the movie, where you have the part of the set that was built and the rest that was on the video wall, and you can shoot that all in camera as you move around. Another use case, this is more typical people in cockpit, people in cars kind of scenario, but you can move the camera around anywhere you want, and the background will adjust accordingly. The perspective of the background will adjust accordingly to show you essentially an infinite landscape, if that's what your virtual set is, as opposed to something that looks like a flat background. Deborah Chow again, directing the Pedro Pascal and Carl Weathers. And the point here is that this is kind of a magic hour shot, but they can take all their time in terms of directing, changing the script, or doing whatever they want, because the wall will hold magic hour for as long as necessary. And this is one of the shots in the last episode of the first season, where a complex tunnel shot, where a complex visual effects shot, you can see a stand-in for the IG-11 robot that will be added later in post-production. There's still a lot of visual effects, standard visual effects being added into these shows. And this other image showing another, in this case, it's a sunrise with Pedro Pascal again, and the star of the show, Baby Yoda, which was a real puppet. And this is another director now, Bryce Dallas Howard, who's directing actress Gina Carano, and with the DP Baz Idwan at the camera. And again, here the wall is about a few feet behind them. What looks like the inside of a large barn or hangar is in fact displayed on the video wall, and give a sense of being in that real set. And another episode here where the camera is focusing on actor Bill Burr. That's what we see in the picture-in-picture. So we can see on that broad view where the wall ends and where the set begins, right at the bottom over here. Your placing of camera, of course, is what defines what you do. Here is Baby Yoda in a precarious position. And it's another situation where it's hard to see where the wall begins and ends. If you see beyond Baby Yoda, there's a stage hand over there in the background, and he's standing right by the wall. So all the rest of it here is real set and real mud. And the top part is done on the wall as Baby Yoda is moving and the camera is moving. We see the final in the lower corner. So here we're going to look and let John Farrow talk about his experience.
Part of what's been fun about collaborating on The Mandalorian with Lucasfilm and Disney is that we have been able to see through a few technical innovations and a few firsts that I think are going to have a lot of impact on the way television and movies are made moving forward. In partnership with ILM and Epic, we have put together a system whereby which we can have game engine, real-time render, and video wall technology coming together to create a backdrop for the big, beautiful world of Star Wars.
The volume is 21 feet tall, it's 75 feet in diameter, run by 7 machines, pumping the visuals onto the screen that's being created in pre-production and can be on the screen within 24 hours of being finalized.
It's incredibly impressive when you first walk out there because it completely surrounds your peripheral vision. And you really quickly forget that you're indoors and you're not out on some planet's surface. It feels like a real three-dimensional environment surrounding you because it is a three-dimensional environment.
You can allow your key creatives to all make decisions together so that the shots are captured entirely in camera, which allows for a better performance.
And what was so exciting about this is by bringing those people together, things started to click. And we started to realize, well, let's not just do green screen and interactive light. If we're going to design the whole set in game engine ahead of time, maybe we could have some in-camera effects.
Everything in the volume is designed to both light the actors and to be a background that we can directly photograph. So you end up with real-time final pixels in camera.
If you look at visual effects heavy films, you've got a film set and then it's going to go to post and it's going to get the world put in. Here we're considering all of that at the same time, and how do we create a background and foreground that live together on the volume harmoniously.
When we started to play with the idea of using Unreal Engine for virtual production, that's one of the things that Richard and John started to embrace, is that you've got this very dynamic world where you can have randomization of things and find the happy accident that gives you the perfect shot. Being able to see the actors point at things and see what they're looking at was pretty transformative. It gave everybody context, with the added benefit that if you want to move a mountain from there to there, you can do it instantly.
You could switch between the Iceland location to the desert location, all within the same day of shooting.
The ability to shoot a 10-hour dawn is extraordinary. To shoot any sequence where you say, oh, this world's not quite right, let's just move it a little bit. An extraordinary number of benefits and advantages for shooting in that environment. It's mind-blowing what that tool is.
What you see is really what you get. And that's something that really means a lot to filmmakers, especially those who have worked with a more traditional approach in the past.
Shots of character in a vehicle traveling through a complex environment. It's always very difficult to do believably on stage. LED screens are a wonderful solution to that problem, because what you're doing is you're taking this technique of image-based lighting that we've been using in computer graphics for years, and use it to light a subject.
And then we would do shoots where we would texture map real lit surfaces onto our game engine Geo, and so the camera could move anywhere. We would do interiors, like Werner Herzog's office. And then you started doing things like building sets into it, having half a spaceship with reflective surfaces. And so it became exciting, because by the end of the season, it was like, let's start designing sets around what this could do well.
Just like the good old days. With Star Wars, we're building on a rich legacy of innovation, and getting to partner with Jon Favreau to make his ambitious vision a reality, it's really a game changer for filmmaking.
So we want to thank our partner that worked, the team of partners that we were part of that worked on The Mandalorian. Again, go back to the articles if you can, and The Mandalorian. And this is another director now, Bryce Dallas Howard, who's directing actress Gina Carano, and with the DP Baz Idwan at the camera. And again, here the wall is about a few feet behind them. What looks like the inside of a large barn or hangar is in fact displayed on the video wall, and give a sense of being in that real set. And another episode here where the camera is focusing on actor Bill Burr. That's what we see in the picture-in-picture. So we can see on that broad view where the wall ends and where the set begins, right at the bottom over here. Your placing of camera, of course, is what defines what you do. Here is Baby Yoda in a precarious position. And it's another situation where it's hard to see where the wall begins and ends. If you see beyond Baby Yoda, there's a stage hand over there in the background, and he's standing right by the wall. So all the rest of it here is real set and real mud. And the top part is done on the wall as Baby Yoda is moving and the camera is moving. We see the final in the lower corner. So here we're going to look and let Jon Favreau talk about his experience.
Part of what's been fun about collaborating on The Mandalorian with Lucasfilm and Disney is that we have been able to see through a few technical innovations and a few firsts that I think are going to have a lot of impact on the way television and movies are made moving forward. In partnership with ILM and Epic, we have put together a system whereby which we can have game engine, real-time render, and video wall technology coming together to create a backdrop for the big, beautiful world of Star Wars.
The volume is 21 feet tall, it's 75 feet in diameter, run by 7 machines, pumping the visuals onto the screen that's being created in pre-production and can be on the screen within 24 hours of being finaled.
It's incredibly impressive when you first walk out there because it completely surrounds your peripheral vision. And you really quickly forget that you're indoors and you're not out on some planet's surface. It feels like a real three-dimensional environment surrounding you because it is a three-dimensional environment.
You can allow your key creatives to all make decisions together so that the shots are captured entirely in camera, which allows for a better performance.
And what was so exciting about this is by bringing those people together, things started to click, and we started to realize, well, let's not just do green screen and interactive light. If we're going to design the whole set in game engine ahead of time, maybe we could have some in-camera effects.
Everything in the volume is designed to both light the actors and to be a background that we can directly photograph. So you end up with real-time final pixels in camera.
If you look at visual effects heavy films, you've got a film set and then it's going to go to post and it's going to get the world put in. Here we're considering all of that at the same time, and how do we create a background and foreground that live together on the volume harmoniously.
When we started to play with the idea of using Unreal Engine for virtual production, that's one of the things that Richard and John started to embrace, is that you've got this very dynamic world where you can have randomization of things and find the happy accident that gives you the perfect shot. Being able to see the actors point at things and see what they're looking at was pretty transformative. It gave everybody context, with the added benefit that if you want to move a mountain from there to there, you can do it instantly.
You could switch between the Iceland location to the desert location, all within the same day of shooting.
The ability to shoot a 10-hour dawn is extraordinary. To shoot any sequence where you say, oh, this world's not quite right, let's just move it a little bit. An extraordinary number of benefits and advantages for shooting in that environment. It's mind-blowing what that tool is.
What you see is really what you get. And that's something that really means a lot to filmmakers, especially those who have worked with a more traditional approach in the past.
Shots of character in a vehicle traveling through a complex environment. It's always very difficult to do believably on stage. LED screens are a wonderful solution to that problem, because what you're doing is you're taking this technique of image-based lighting that we've been using in computer graphics for years, and use it to light a subject.
And then we would do shoots where we would texture map real lit surfaces onto our game engine Geo, and so the camera could move anywhere. We would do interiors, like Werner Herzog's office. And then you started doing things like building sets into it, having half a spaceship with reflective surfaces. And so it became exciting because by the end of the season, it was like, let's start designing sets around what this could do well.
Just like the good old days.
With Star Wars, we're building on a rich legacy of innovation, and getting to partner with Jon Favreau to make his ambitious vision a reality, it's really a game changer for filmmaking.
So we want to thank our partner that worked, the team of partners that we were part of that worked on The Mandalorian. Again, go back to the articles if you can. And The Mandalorian also has on Disney Plus a number of documentaries. Yes.
I'm so sorry to disturb you. Could you hold on for 2 minutes? There is some technical error, so the live feed has been stopped. You can just hold on for 2 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just give to the go ahead. Sorry, sir.
Let me know when you want me to restart.
Sorry about that, David. I think there's a glitch.
No problem. How long ago did it happen?
I'm not so sure. I just got the message.
Yeah, there was a good stream of questions and then it stopped 10 minutes ago. What was our audience? How many people did we have?
I don't see a number here. I can't tell a number.
Okay. There didn't seem to be a lot of people in the beginning at the poll. It's late at night, right?
It's about 9:05.
Mm-hmm.
David, I think we're live. Mute yourself.
Okay, you want me to continue or?
No, just mute it for now. I'll tell you when to unmute.
Okay.
The person we have called.
Mr. David, you're live, please. You can carry on.
Okay, very good. How much time do I have? Can you tell me? I will proceed. So we were talking about the Mandalorian before the interruption. Sorry about that. There's a lot of resource to learn more about how it was made. Disney has made documentaries that are on Disney Plus besides the actual episode. You can go see them there. There's a lot of there's a complete episode on the technology, but also on how directors work in that kind of environment, and cinematographers and Star Wars trivia and other things like that. Highly recommend. We have another example here, a short clip from another property, Westworld, and there's a longer video that you can see on our website, uevirtualproduction.com. This is an excerpt of Jonathan Nolan and his team speaking about how they came to use Unreal on the last season.
Then this season, I see the AirPod. And right then, I knew that Joan and I were going to finally figure out a way to use LED walls. I had the privilege of working with Jon Favreau back in 2012. Jon invited us down to The Mandalorian to really see how all these things that he had learned had developed from a technology standpoint.
And it turned out he'd been frustrated shooting blue screen, and he was trying to build exactly the same thing. What I was surprised to realize is it was still using the same pieces: Unreal Engine, camera tracking. So thanks to the generosity of John and the innovation on the part of our team, we got to this place where you can create this artificial space and stand in it and light with it.
When we started out in Hale's office, we wanted to build out a 3D photoreal view of the City of Arts and Sciences.
Our approach was, while we're there shooting with the actual actors, the exteriors, we're going to gather up all of that visual information and create a soundstage in Los Angeles that allows us to take a wormhole back to Valencia whenever we want.
The whole new challenge was taking all of these incredible digital ideas and saying, well, what happens if we do it on film? That's where, for us, the magic happened.
A small army of technicians over at Epic and Unreal and Fuse helped shoot this on film. It's beautiful.
All right, this video is actually much longer. You can go see it. Shannon just put it in the chat. You can go see the complete version of it on how Unreal Engine was used on Westworld last season. uevirtualproduction.com, that is the place to find a lot of information. In the chat, we got many questions about how do we start, how do we convince more traditional directors and filmmakers, more conservative filmmakers, and how do we work with this technology in the world of COVID-19? These are very good questions. We have doubled down on our online training. Your success is our success. That is our motto and our tagline. So with COVID-19, we already had an online learning portal that had just come online. We doubled down on that in a number of ways. You can find it at unrealengine.com/online learning. There are many classes there. You can earn badges in the different types of features that you can learn and build your curriculum and your the way to show that you have learned Unreal. That's a great way to start. And we also have a virtual production field guide that you can download from uevirtualproduction.com. And to answer the question about COVID-19, as it turns out, in-camera visual effects stages are being seen as a solution for some of the problem that COVID-19 builds. What we just saw in the Westworld example, where before the pandemic, they went to scan an actual location after they had gone there to do live action, but now they were back in Los Angeles completing it, and then often when you do the movie or the TV show, you realize that you should have shot this or that. Instead of sending the crew back in planes to the location, which is expensive and now not so good in this COVID-19 time we live in, you can scan the location, bring it to the set instead. And so there's a lot of benefits to do that. And many studios are considering accelerating their plan in that direction at this time. And the last thing I would like to show before letting you go for the late evening, thank you for staying, is what we have ahead of us with regards to the Unreal Engine. So new developments are coming to Unreal Engine that will make it a lot easier to create assets, to bring film quality assets, they are built already in the industry, straight into the engine, and how these tools will interact together. On the clip that we call the lumens in the land of the night, I will play this. This is the last piece I want to show you.
might be.
And so the best way to start is to learn Unreal Engine 4, which is the current version. Unreal Engine 5 will come to the market in as a preview in early 2021, and soon thereafter with all these new features. And but it's going to be in continuity with Unreal Engine 4. So we highly recommend that you follow the online training and that you get in and in your craft, whatever your craft is, if you are a cinematographer or production designer or an animator or someone who does previs. In all those cases, if you work in the film and TV industry, there's a benefit for you in using Unreal Engine. And by learning it and developing your skill set, you will be able to participate in this great environment where you can create all kind of great images, background, creatures in real time. We welcome you, and I thank you for being with us late at night tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David, for this wonderful session. It was really insightful to see all the videos, all the technology, all the good stuff, amazing stuff which you're doing. And thank you so much for sparing your valuable time and sharing your thoughts with us.